Krishna. As we all know, we celebrated Sri Gurudev's centennial appearance yesterday, and we are all gathered here today to celebrate Gurudev's centennial appearance. Before I go, I would like to thank Guruji for giving me this opportunity to talk about Gurudev, even though I know that I'm not qualified to talk about Gurudev. Om Anjana Timirandasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my humble obeisance to the lotus feet of Sri Gurudev, who, with the divine torch of knowledge, had opened the eyes blinded by darkness of ignorance. Today I am going to offer Mangala Charana to Srila Gurudev. Vandeham Shri Guruvaram Shri Rupanuga Pravaram Vrajaraja Rasikam Cha Narayanam Prapannam. The meaning of this is, I adore the greatest divine master, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj. He is the foremost follower of Rupa Goswami, and he is always relishing Vrajarasa. I surrender unto him. Shri Guru Charanam Vande Ramana Prestaya Bhutale Rupanuga Bhaktidam Cha Kripamurti Narayanam. I bow down to the lotus feet of Sri Gurudev, who is a reservoir of mercy. He is dearly loved by Ramana Bihari, and he is also the treasure of Rupanuga Bhakti. Seva Kunja Vrajaramye Govardhana Giro Sada Radha Kunde Rasanande Tattat Seva Pradayakam. Sri Gurudev is eternally residing in the beautiful Seva Kunja of Raja, Radha Kunda. There he is immersed in the bliss of nectarian mellows, and he grants the entrance into the service of Sri Radha Krishna as their maid servant. Gurum Narayanakyam Tam Vande Vinoda Prestakam Yatpada Smriti Matrena Damodara Prasidati. I pray to Srila Gurudev, who is very dear to Vinoda Manjari. Simply by remembering his lotus feet, one pleases Sri Sri Radha Damodara. Narayanam Prabhum Vande Karunagana Vigraham Ragamarga Bhaktim Natva Tarayati Tribhuvanam. I offer my respects to Srila Gurudev. He is a reservoir of compassion and bestows the path of Raga Bhakti, delivering these three worlds. Gauraharim Param Presta Nityananda Bhinnaka Shri Gaura Narayana Bhakta Bandhava Priya Sevaka. Srila Gurudev, he is the Bhakta Bandhava, is the most worthy shelter for everyone. He fulfills the inner heart desire of Gaurahari and bestows Radha Dasyam, the position of being intimate servant of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Narayanam Gurum Vande Sharanyam Bhakta Bandhavam Gauramano Bistam Purnam Radha Dasyam Pradayakam. Rupanugacharya Varyam Rupamanjari Prestakam Patita Pavana Bandhavya Yugacharya Narayanam. Our Gurudev is the foremost Acharya in the line of Sri Rupa Goswami in the present era, and he is the dearmost of Rupa Manjari. He purifies the fallen through his friendship, and he is the Acharya of this Yuga. And before I take my leave, I would like to say that without the mercy of Rupanuga Guru, without taking shelter onto the lotus feet of Rupanuga Guru, one can never achieve the realm of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuddhapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. Now I am going to start today a little differently with pulling out some of the differences between a politician and a pure devotee. How contrasting it is. Actually, what a difference it is. A politician fights to be famous, he fights to be rich, and he fights to be in power as much as possible, whatever the means it takes. But a pure devotee will run away from all these things. Kanaka Kamini, Pradishta Bhagini, Chadiyate Jare, Seito Vaishnava, Sei Anashakta, Sei Sutta Bhakta, Samsara Tata Paya Parabhava. One is truly a pure devotee, a Vaishnava, who has given up the habit of falling victim to the ferocious tigress of wealth, beauty, and fame. Such a soul is factually detached from material life and is known as a pure devotee. And today, we are actually talking about our Gurudev, who is incomparably high. He is actually a Uttam Adhikari who came all the way from Goloka Vrindavan just to really take some of the fortunate souls back to him. So this very short video is about 10 years ago or something, but listen very carefully.
In meeting you and hearing, they feel so much inspiration and they feel so much confidence that you are the real Guru, and they want to accept your shelter and initiation.
Oh, I want to tell you all that I am not real Guru. But I am Madhyam Adhikari. Oh, I will help so much as I can. But I will give guarantee that I will not fall. I am not a Guru like Narad. No? Oh, that I will tell, oh, Krishna Bhakti Sukam, and at once he will dance. Not, I am not. I don't want to cheat you, anyone. I am a Bhakti Sadhak. Sadhak, you know?
Sadhak, yes. Practitioners.
Oh, I am practicing. And what I am realizing, I will help you to my full faith and full energy. Oh, I like to practice Bhakti Yoga so much.
Yeah.
But not like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot give guarantee that I will take you surely to Krishna. I will not give guarantee. But if you are following me, my instructions, oh, I am bound to take you. It depends on them that they should follow and practice Bhakti Yoga. In what way process I am telling. One thing also I want to clear to you. A Sadguru never thinks disciples as a property. You are not my property. If you are taking initiation from me, oh, you are not property, you are property of Krishna. I may help you to clear, to make more smooth, sweet, and again to offer in the Lord's feet of Krishna. Never I think, any Guru, they never think that, oh, the disciples are their property. Oh, property of Krishna. Also, you should think that I don't want any position. I don't want that you should give me wealth, money or anything. You cannot please me by giving any material thing, wealth or reputation or anything, or golden or diamonds, anything. I don't want. I know that it cannot give happiness. I want only to help you. As Swamiji requested me, I can.
Gurudev, He Daya
here, few things I want to really bring that out. These are the very strong sentences that Gurudev said. You are not my property. You are the property of Krishna. This is very important. And now the second one he is saying is, you can never please me by giving any material things. And the third one is very significant. If you are following me, my instructions, I am bound to take you to Krishna. This is the very important sentence there. I know that our Gurudev is actually a Uttamadhikari. A Uttamadhikari will never say that he is a Uttamadhikari. It's not possible. But for the sake of saving the people, he has come down to act as a Madhyamadhikari. Because while in Uttamadhikari level, one cannot preach. Srila Prabhupada also had to come down to Madhyamadhikari. So now, if you see, all these gurus are not actually just like that, they just started to be. No, they are empowered by the Lord. A guru is empowered only by Krishna's Sakti. Kali Kalera Dharma, Krishna Nama Sankirtana, Krishna Sakti Vina, Nahitara Pravartana. A person cannot spread the glories of Bhagavan and engage others in his service without empowered by Krishna's Sakti. So this is very important. And here is another short
If you
one.
like, you have faith on me, then only. I am not requesting anyone. I have not come to make any disciple. To take the disciple of very heavy burden, I know. So if you like that, oh, I can help you, then you can accept. Otherwise, I don't need any disciple or anything. I never think that you are my disciples. I think that, oh, you are like my friends. I am helping you to go to Krishna, to serve Krishna. Never like Acharya.
But will they be able to feel so close and near and dear to you?
It depends on them, not on me. They should think that a guru is powerful always to come in the heart and directly, indirectly, and he can save his disciples. Then he is disciple, otherwise no. Guru is like so powerful, and he can come in their hearts, or anyhow they can directly, indirectly they will come and help. If they have so much faith on a guru, oh, they can.
And there was one old Bengali scripture. It was found about 100 years back or something only. Someone discovered an old Bengali scriptures, but that person did not think it was so important for a long time. It says, a Mahabhagavata will emerge and give the topmost bhakti to the whole world for 15 years. The time frame mentioned, because this was a calculation for their calendar. When they translated to the English calendar, it came exactly 1995 to 2010. Actually, no other Mahabhagavata is known to satisfy this prediction. It was exactly in 1995 our Gurudev started preaching to the world, and he left this world in 2010. Also, our Guru Parampara is not run by selecting a descendant. Our Gurudeva did not name any descendant. Because a Guru manifests only by the will of Krishna, Guru cannot be made or assigned. Once a devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, "Oh, Srila Prabhupada, who have you appointed as Acharya to succeed you when you leave this world?" Prabhupada's exact answer, immediate answer was, "Acharya is not appointed, Acharya is manifest." His Guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, also did not appoint a successor. Years later, a devotee asked Srila Narayan Maharaj, our Gurudev, the same question. He replied, "Acharya is not appointed, Acharya is manifest." He too did not appoint a successor, although he had ample opportunity to do so. His Diksha Guru, Srila Bhakti Pranjana Kesava Goswami Maharaja, and intimate disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura did not appoint a successor. No. A guru can never be decided by voting or application that we really see in many places. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say here is, A guru is not decided by application or decided by voting. It is like asking to vote, if one is a donkey or a cow. The fact is that it does not matter what you vote for. By voting, one can never make a donkey into a cow or a cow into a donkey. A donkey is a donkey and a cow is a cow. So voting to select a guru is like politics. That's why I started the slide. Right from the beginning is politics. That is why if you see that, because I really happened to visit, this was near Jaipur. So that devotee really so great, and he got direct darshan of Krishna. He was telling one to us. Of course, we also had became fortunate recently. He said, don't go to those kind of places where our Guru Maharaj is insulted. They don't see, there is no way of Krishna is not there. So voting to select a guru is like politics. Like the Congress and Senate, what we are actually seeing every day in the news. They're all fun. A guru manifests by the will of Krishna only. But do we need a guru? Narayano api vikritum yati guru prachutasya durbude kamalam jale tapetam sosayati ravirna poshayati. When a lotus flower is situated in water, the rays of the sun causes it to blossom. The same sun, however, will wither a lotus which is not situated in water. In this example, the disciple is compared to the lotus, Sri Guru to water, and the Supreme Lord to the sun. That means if one does not have a guru, there is no way, because you will be basically finished. This is what this is saying. This is from Jalataka Samhita, which is a very rare one. Guru makes the bhakti flowing as fresh stream. Without Guru, the bad association develops. The stream stops. Our bhakti becomes stagnant. Then it will dry up and gets rotten and smelling very bad, as you see on the right side top. How? Worldly desires develop and our mind becomes uncontrollable. But a guru who is 100% immersed in Radha Krishna bhakti is the one who makes our bhakti flowing afresh all the time. That is why it is said sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi haya. So here what it is saying is tato dushyam gam utsrujaya satsu sajeta bhuttiman sandaye vasya siddhanti manovya sangam utidvihi. An intelligent person should therefore reject all bad associations and instead take the association of Guru, whose words cut off the excessive attachment of one's disturbing mind. That is why sadhu sange, sarva sastra haya, lava matra sadhu sange, sarva siddhi haya. So one should develop greed for sadhu sangha, association of sat sadhu, premi bhaktas. The sadhu should be real sadhu, a complete sadhu, a sent person sadhu, not a partial sadhu, a sent person sadhu. So this is very important. Otherwise he cannot really give you the proper, this. Because the thing is, he has to make the bhakti flowing, ever fresh. This is the key point here. And Guru also gives the correct understanding. In the previous Harikatha, we really went through all the evidences that I could really recollect and prove that Krishna is not an avatar. It's all there in the Shastras, not just I am doing. I just collected, that's all. So what was that? Because of the wrong interpretation, because of the wrong understanding of Shastra, whole thing completely actually messed up. What was that? Because just by in the sloka, the word Keshav is misinterpreted to lead to confusion, as Krishna and Balaram were two hairs of Mahavishnu. The same word later in the Vishnu Purana comes correctly. So it was actually a total mess up. So Shastra should be learned from a genuine Guru. So for example, we know Bhagavad Gita, Yat karoshi yat ashnasi yet juhoshi dadashi yet tabasyasi kaundeya tad kurushva matarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, and whatever you bestow, and whatever austerities you perform, O son of Kundi, do them as an offering to me. Oh, no problem. No problem. That is very clear. I am a serial killer. Whatever the sin it brings to me, I will offer it to Krishna. So I am free from sin. Look at here. Isn't it? Isn't it? Is it actually a right interpretation of this sloka? No. See, this is the problem. Now, in the name of translator, there are 200 translations of Big Gita. All rubbish. Except the one from Srila Prabhupada and also our Gurudeva and also one from Sri Sampradaya. That is also very, very close. Other than that, you just literally throw all the Gitas out. For example, I will take Chit Bhavananda. There is a Gita Vyakyana in Tamil. He confuses the people. He says that even if you eat meat, you offer it to God. Like Kannappa Nayanar or somebody did. He was tamasic bhakti. These are fake gurus confusing the people because Krishna says, Patram Palam, Patram Pushpam Palam Doy. That's what, he doesn't say meat. He doesn't say egg. People do not know the correct meaning because they are not coming in the parampara. They are just, manufacturing their own idea. There are so many preachers who actually preach you how to become rich, how to use stock market, and become a millionaire in 30 days. There are a lot of things that they really do it for the dummies, especially art of living. That's a big one. Throughout the world it is there, and so on. A real guru does not teach art of living. He will teach art of dying. One may say, oh, that is not nice. But the fact is, if you know the art of dying, then you automatically know the art of living the best way in this world. It does not matter if you live in this world happily or not. It does not matter if you live in this world for 100 years or even million years like Brahma. It is not important. What is important? What is important? The important thing is, what will you be after you die? Are we getting that kind of inspiration? So a real guru should give that kind of inspiration. This is a story told by our Gurudeva once. There was a preacher, and an old lady used to come every day for worship. But as soon as the preacher starts to speak, she used to cry in tears and uncontrollably tears. This happened every day. So the preacher thought, oh, this lady is very devotional. So one day, after his preaching, he talked to the lady. So she asked, oh, madam, my teaching must be inspiring you. Why do you cry every day? The lady said, oh, sir, I had a goat with a beautiful beard. It used to walk shaking its beard nicely. And I loved it so much. But one day, it died and I was crying and crying. When you preach here, when you shake your beard like that, you remind me about my dear goat. So I can't stop crying. Is that the inspiration that you want? What kind of inspiration, what do you want? Yes. Guru teaches what you must hear. It is not what you want to hear. There are so many gurus and so many preachers in this world. So they are so popular because they know what these people want to hear. Not what they must hear. This is actually from Sri Gaur Govind Maharaj. Let us now get into the life of our Gurudev. So we will really like to really take you to a small glimpse of our Gurudev's birth and boyhood.
Hare Krishna, my name is Madan Mohini Devi Dasi, and before I start, I would like to say thank you to Guruji for letting me have this opportunity to do this small part of the Guru Katha. And before I start, I would like to offer my obeisances to Gurudev. Om Ajnana Timidandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuran Miditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So as you all know, yesterday was Mauna Amavasya, which was the appearance day of Gurudev. So what is the significance of Mauna Amavasya? So once, Daksha, who was a Prajapati, had insulted Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva decided never to go back to his place. But the thing was, he was married to the daughter of Daksha, Dakshayani. One day, that Daksha called for a huge yajna and invited all the celestial beings. He even invited Brahma and Vishnu, but he did not invite Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva was not concerned about this. But his wife, Dakshayani, wanted to go and attend the yajna. She said to Lord Shiva, "Oh, can I go to the yajna?" Lord Shiva said, "You can go, but if you go, you won't be coming back." She thought about it for a little while, but then she finally decided to go. When she went there, instead of receiving her warmly like a father, Daksha started throwing insults at Dakshayani. She felt a little bad, but she kept quiet. But then, Daksha started insulting Lord Shiva, and she was unable to tolerate these insults towards her husband. With all that anger, she produced fire from her body and burned herself right on the spot. Lord Shiva, after hearing this, got extremely angry, and he went into a mauna, silence. And in this mauna, things in the Brahmanda were getting destructed. Since Lord Shiva is the leader of the Ganas, one of the Ganas, known as Virabhadra, went to the sacrificial arena of Daksha and cut off his head right there, and threw it into the yajna fire. But then Lord Brahma later arranged for Daksha to get the head of a goat. So after this incident, Lord Shiva was in deep mauna and things were going wrong in the Brahmanda. But in order to calm down Lord Shiva, Brahma and Vishnu said that you should remarry that Dakshayani who will be born as Parvati. After hearing this, Lord Shiva finally came out of his mauna, and that day is known as Mauna Amavasya. So, Srila Gurudev's parents would observe Shivaratri every year. And once a priest told them they should observe Shivaratri and do a puja to get a devotee as their son. So the parents of Gurudev were Pandita Tiwari and Lakshmi Devi. So when they went to observe the Shivaratri, they stayed awake the whole night and they offered puja 4 times. But in the morning, they dozed off and they both got a dream. In fact, the same dream. And what was that dream? It was an amazing darshan of thousands of effulgent dancing devotees and singing the names of Lord Krishna. Then one of those devotees came forward towards Lakshmi Devi and Lakshmi Devi and Tiwari. So that devotee was coming closer and closer and closer and just jumped into their hearts. And then they woke up and Lakshmi Devi soon became pregnant. And on February 7th, 1921, a beautiful baby boy was born, and that was our Gurudev. And since they were under the Sri Sampradaya, they gave him the name Sriman Narayana. So in his boyhood, Gurudev was a great Rama Bhakta, and he would always chant the Ramayana. Whenever there was a Ramayana recitation, he would be the first to go there and the last to leave. In fact, he was such a great Rama Bhakta that the Ram Parivar gave him darshan. And one other thing is that Gurudev will not touch or bathe in normal water. He will only use Ganga water. And Gurudev memorized the Gita and the Bhagavatam, and in his class, in school, he would always chant the names of Lord Ram, and even his teacher joined in. So, even though Gurudev was born in the Sri Parampara, from the very beginning, he did not like their motive of worship. He asked so many questions, but he was never able to receive a satisfactory answer. And if we remember from Jeva Dharma, chapter 23, we learned that their Nama Tattva is inferior. And Gurudev never saw unconditional love there, and they were all behind moksha. So the Upanayana day, or the sacred thread ceremony, was coming near for Gurudev, and everyone was preparing for the yajna. So their family guru, Pandita Mishra's son, came to observe what was going on. Gurudev started to ask him many questions, but the boy was unable to answer and ran away. Then the next day, Pandita Mishra himself had come, And Gurudev asked so many questions again. He asked, what is the meaning of this life and what is the ultimate goal of this life? The Pandita Mishra replied, it is to be materially successful in this life and material world and then get moksha. Then Gurudev asked, if one serves his relatives for his entire life, can he get moksha? The Pandit could not answer. Then one old Vaishnava came forward from the crowd and said, we are the eternal servant of God and we should do sadhana to get to him. Then Gurudev asked, who is the real God then? Is it Rama? Is it Narayana? Is it Krishna? Is it Narasimha? He had so many questions. And he also said, if I am detached, can I have the relation with God? Then the old Vaishnava said to his parents, your son is not going to be coming to your home. Instead, the whole world will go to him to give him shelter. The whole world will go to Gurudev and he will give them shelter. But Gurudev's parents continued to press for him to take the sacred thread ceremony under the Sri Parampara. But on that day, it turned out to be a very big chaos. Gurudev asked so many questions and no one could still properly answer. And there were so many discussions. They were telling that the Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha were the topmost goals in life. But Gurudev said, I do not want Dharma or Moksha, or Artha or Kama. He said, you worship Narayana, but you steal Lakshmi. You want wealth, which is Artha. You worship Narayana to enjoy in this world, which is Kama, and then want to enjoy in Vaikuntha. But I do not want any of these things. I only want the love of God, unconditional, without asking for a single thing. But however, due to his parents crying, Gurudev took the sacred thread with much hesitation. So, here's another story where Gurudev had a horse. And with this horse and with some friends, Gurudev went into the forest. After some time, Gurudev and his friends became tired, so they stopped to take some rest. But when they woke up, the horse was nowhere to be found. So they went and they were searching everywhere in the forest for their horse, and then they finally saw that it was kept under the control of a yogi. So Gurudev approached the yogi, and the yogi said, please come, I was waiting for you. I'm waiting for you like the sages in the Dandakaranya forest were waiting for Lord Ram. And Gurudev asked, who are you and whom do you worship? The yogi replied, I worship you and I was waiting for you. The yogi also said, you will have thousands and thousands of disciples. And I knew that a great Mahabhagavat had been born in Bihar. I was waiting for you and I have all blessings for you. And then the yogi finally said, now I can depart. After this incident and Gurudev returned home, he went back to find that yogi. But when he went, there was not even a single trace from him.
You have received a very high class of Guru, like Swamiji, like our Guru Parampara, Rupa Goswami and others. He is Karnadhar, very expert in selling boat, giving direction. Giving direction where? His goal is where to go. That I told. Oh, Krishna, Radha, Dashyam. Our boat will go there. And Guru is very expert. Mayanukullena. If there is favorable wind and we have sail. Oh, in no time we'll cross.
That is exactly what we are actually going to have the orchestra about.
Jai
Now the temple in South India happened from his inspiration and advice. This is a picture I sent for Vyasa Puja book being published by Centennial Committee. Also on this special day, I want to thank all the families who voluntarily helped to build the temple. You are serving Srila Gurudeva because I never asked for any money. How many people have this kind of opportunity that voluntarily came and then poured? Because it is said in the Shastra that if one builds a temple for Krishna, Krishna even makes a spiritual planet for you. My one humble request is, please accumulate Sukriti instead of wealth. The wealth won't come with us. Only Sukriti does. So now this is actually new. Today, I am happy to really talk about the new release, Jaiva Dharma. Now this is the design, the book design that I made, but it is yet to be actually published. They are all there. But the thing is, everybody is busy. So now I don't know, when this is really going to be available. Also, it is very hard. Jaiva Dharma is actually very hard. So in fact, the earlier Tamil translation that Gurudev gave opportunity to me was going beyond Vaikunda, Shiva Tattva, essence of Bhagavad Gita, butter thief, beyond liberation, Guru Seva Tatma, the fearless prince, undiscovered self, Sri Upadesamrita. And also we made some temple guides, bhajan book in English. I have the version 3 available, but again, I don't know whether when we will print. Bhajan book in Tamil, version 2, which are actually getting printed and then circulated. And also we have a Tulasi Puja book also. So currently I'm working on Brahma Samhita guide that is in Tamil. So some things are going on. And also there is a new app, Bhakti Calendar, in Android. It is released officially today. And this is actually by Gaudi Vedanta publications. Publication. I only wrote the code, and Achyutananda Prabhu, Bhakta Adam actually helped a lot on this one. Now it is on the Google Play that you can download. So it has all the things in the that are there in the purebhakti.com. But the thing is, you don't need any internet at all. Once it loads, it just uses that. And also there is a new app called Google Bhavan is actually released today. So this is the one where, because this is actually meant mainly for the Tamil speaking. So to really listen to bhajans, Gita and other classes, because my sister is so fortunate that she is actually giving class. And also Krishna Priya, who is actually so nice, actually doing DT Seva and also actually publishing all the videos and everything. So many sevas actually going on, and they're all going to be there eventually. And also Vaishnava calendar is actually going to be embedded there as well, and they can see videos, home temple worship, all the tunes of Mahamantra, learn slokas, and so many things. So this was written with our own senior children. So the children who are all watching here, who are all participating, they all participated, and this was a unique opportunity for them to contribute and also to learn. Anushuri Jayakumar, Damodar Priya Dasi, Janvi Nantwani, Kishan Rajiv, Madan Mohini Devi Dasi, Shyam Sundar Dasa, Tejas Paramkusham, they are all actually contributed. So Puspanjali and Vyasa Puja.